And for everyone jumping in, welcome to the Manifest Monday call. We start our week, as we always start it, just by dropping into this feelings of gratitude, of love, joy, appreciation. So think back to your week or weekend. What was one or two moments that really gave you deep joy? And once you're thinking into those things, you feel them, we then make them real by typing them into the chat or putting them into our journal. Whatever you feel, go for it there. I had an unbelievable weekend of just deep connection. I had Friday night connection with my wife, and then we had some friends over, and we had a really deep connection on Saturday. It was just unbelievable. I had like the best weekend ever. Beautiful. Anybody else want to share? What gave them love, joy, appreciation, gratitude over the past week or weekend?
Hey, Nick, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Is that Alex?
It is Alex, the one and only.
What's up, dude?
So you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm on a road where the reception's not the greatest, so hopefully I don't die out here. But a couple of things. Well, first of all, in terms of what gave me gratification, fried clams at Farnham's in Essex gave me a lot of gratification. we had lunch there on Saturday. It's the first time Kathy has ever been there, and we loved it. But being the frugal one that I am, we had to split a boat because it's like $30, and I'm not going to pay more than that for a fried clam. So, no, I'm just piggybacking on what I think it was Joel. Is that your name, Joel? I think I heard you say that you went to an estate planning event, and it sounds like the one that I went to, or at least the same company. Kath and I went to one in Newburyport last week, and I think it's called Law. I don't know if that's the same one. It sounds like it. Can you still hear me?
That was it. It was Virginia.
Can you hear me okay?
It was
okay.
Law Mom,
Yeah. So we actually signed up to meet with them in January, and I feel good about it because this is literally something we've been putting off. Not for months, but years. Estate planning, we don't have anything. We have absolutely nothing at all. And the ironic thing is, our main way of acquiring properties to flip is probates. So we've bought tons of probate properties over the years, but have we ever taken the time out to set up an estate planning for ourselves? No, we kept putting it off. And I want to thank Michelle because I found out about it from Facebook because Michelle liked their poster feed or something, and it went to my page. So that's how I even found out about it. So Michelle, if you're on the call, thank you for the like, I guess. So yeah, we're pretty excited. I can finally check that off. Well, I haven't checked it off my list yet because we haven't officially done it yet, but we're on our way.
Yeah, great one. Yeah, Alex, for anyone who's jumping in, right? Like that's part of life is our transition, and just having things ready to make things easier on the next generation. It's always a really, really powerful thing. So that's in the financial freedom chat. If after this call, maybe if anybody has any tips on, I can drop some stuff in there on, estate trusts and living trusts and I have a pretty complicated setup myself, but I'm sure Law Mom will make it super easy, and we got to report back, Alex. So
I will.
Yeah.
I'll drop a link. Nick, you tell me where I should drop it. But I was in Arizona at an assisted living conference. I think it's 2 weeks ago now, and I happened to befriend this vendor. I didn't even know what he was selling, but like 2 days in, I realized he actually sells these like game cards that gamifies that process of asking those questions and even the questions that you weren't thinking about for legacy planning. And I actually purchased one of those cards that's in the mail. So I'll drop a link to the website. It was just like one of those things one of those tools you didn't realize you needed, but you definitely needed and realized everybody needs it. Because it even talks about like pass it down recipes and things like that. Not just that.
Yeah. If you have one of those, Joel, type them into the chat too after the call. I'd love to hear like a couple how they do it. Like we just want to. Yeah. Okay. Gamifying. Isn't it so funny? We're all just big kids, right, everyone? We're all just big kids. And we can gamify the whole thing. What if we gamified life? I heard this. I don't know where I heard this from. I shared this weekend with a few people who were over my house, right? Like I heard from somebody that the problem with like when we're in the shit with life, the problem with like, we feel like we're the ones in the shit, day to day. We feel like we're the one actually going through the challenges. We're the ones going through the struggle. We're the ones who feel the emotions. And it's funny because this guy looked at everything like a total video game. And he said, the problem is we're so used to playing first person since we were born, right? Our mind gets immediately involved and we start living life as if we are the ones experiencing everything because that's what our mind wants us to think. He says the difference is, what if like we're just the observer of our mind, of our thoughts? All we have to do is do a little zoom out on the mouse to remind ourselves we're not actually in the game. We're the one behind the controller. Like we get to actually play the game. We get to go on that adventure. We get to pick that thing up. We get to go in whatever that thing, go skydiving over here. We get to have, these amazing kids and take them on an adventure. Like we get to experience this challenge, right? We get to go through this. And it's like, if we just zoom out a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, it was just a really cool way of looking at it. Like instead of being in the screen, we're behind the screen with a controller. And we have full range. There are no rules in this RPG. It's kind of neat, though. Does that resonate with anybody? Or is that just me being crazy, remembering my Nintendo days, loving my Dragon Warrior and Link and Legend of Zelda? No?
No, I didn't play those, but I'm right there with you. Maybe some Pac-Man or who knows.
The new Legends of Zelda is as good, if not better, than the original.
Ooh, thank you, Adam. For what is that? What is that for? What what console? Switch. Okay, excellent. We have the old Switch now, so I have to tell my kids about that.
This is probably you can probably get it for the old Switch because it's a few years old.
Beautiful. Yay.
And at GameStop, you can probably get it for $10.
Thank you for that. For anyone who's hearing this and is going through something, just do a little bit of a zoom out on your screen. This is now a season of rest for you, maybe not as production or drive or motivation, but like you get to zoom out. What do you get to do now? I love Virginio said, he's got a boot on his leg, so he's just listening to podcasts, listening to motivational videos, maybe a little too many. Don't forget to enjoy the life around you too, Virginia, once in a while, right? You can jump off YouTube and just like breathe the air, right? Look at this.
Well, I am going on the cruise Friday.
Yes.
But I already had a book before I had the boot on, so I'm not going to let it stop me. And so I got to go anyway. It's 8 days down in Miami, going to Western Caribbean. So excellent. Anybody that hasn't been on the cruise, you got to go. You got to try it because it's definitely worth it.
Woo!
It'll definitely motivate you because you'll see people 80, 90 years old with walkers, missing legs. So if you think you're feeling sorry for yourself, you got a little boot on there, and then you're going to go there and you'll see somebody in a wheelchair with no legs at all. And they're still on the cruise.
And they're winning the bikini competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, that class I took was Law Mom, and there was across the street from your house there. And it was really good. It was very interesting. And I'm going through 2 probates right now for my sister and my nephew that died young, 49 and 35. And so I commend everybody that at least goes and does a class and works on getting that, because it's been a year and a half now just to do one. But if they had wills and they had everything set up right for a couple $100 or so, we wouldn't have gone through any of this stuff. So I'm trying to get my parents, trying to convince them to get it done. And they're 95 and 87, and they fight me all the way. So I'm preaching to the choir, to anybody, listen, don't finish the end game. Don't finish that marathon 10 feet short of the finish line. Get this done now, because then your family will love you after, because you won't have this huge mega headache coming up very soon if you don't do that.
Yeah. It's just another way we show love, right? Is to help prepare. Yeah,
Correct.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Virginia. Thank you.
All right.
I want to throw one thing in there, Nick, if I could, this is Michelle.
Yeah.
When Alex saw me, I had I went to like a wine and cheese event right across from the Choke Pub in Ipswich. It was actually right after my brother-in-law died. And I remember sitting there in this Law Mom thing, and I was like, I had seen something online, and I thought, oh, this seems really interesting. And I followed her story. And it was an attorney. She did another kind of law. I don't know if it was real estate or whatever. But then she had a near-death experience. She realized, oh my God, I'm an attorney and I have nothing in place. So she restructured her entire practice, and that's what became Llama. So I saw them in Ipswich, a handful of months ago. And anyway, I realized within 10 minutes of their presentation that I had done the wrong thing by doing a will for myself and having my brother-in-law do a will. We had just been trapped in the holding tank of probate for 10 months. And so within 10 minutes, I realized, and I raised my hand and I said, at the risk of almost blowing a gasket, I said to her, I said, so are you saying that most attorneys know that people should be doing like a revocable or an irrevocable trust instead of a will? And she goes, yes. And I go, why do they do it then? Why do they charge you into it? She goes, because they make more money. They make more money if you do a will. But if you do a will, you're most assuredly have to go through probate, but they never tell you that. They're like, oh, if you do a will, you don't have to go through probate. So I just want to throw my 2 cents in because I would have done it very differently had I known about Law Mom in the first place. I never would have done a will for myself, and I just redid my estate plan with them. And then I would have had my brother-in-law do a trust. So it's like you live and you learn, but I just want to throw that out there for anyone who wants to know,
Love that. Thank you, Michelle. Just
You're
for
welcome.
everyone to know, Law Mom is not a sponsor of the Manifest Monday Mindset Magic Call. However, if anyone would like to have the Law Mom come in, lots of good things are happening here with Law Mom. So,
like she should be, for sure.
no, for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Manifest Monday Call. We have a few new faces, so I want to just go through. First thing we do is we drop into this gratitude, love, joy, and appreciation. This is the portal to attracting all that we want and desire for this coming week. So we make it real by typing it into the chat, putting it into our journals. What is one thing that gave us love, joy, appreciation, or gratitude? And then from there, we move into our alignment questions. And if anyone wants to share, there's a few people who messaged me, and it's funny because I had the same challenge, right? Our first question is, what is your soul calling you to do today? What's one way you can love yourself more today? Forget the priorities or the income generating activities or the business tasks. They are going to be there. They're not going anywhere. What's one thing that you are being called to do today? Joelle shared a good one today, like from one meeting to the other, like just really observing the beauty around him, walking in nature, taking a minute just to walk a dog or pet your dog for about 15 minutes, right? Throw a ball for him. Just maybe it's take a nap. Maybe it's do almost nothing for 20 minutes, right? Stuff that your brain is uncomfortable with because we're all here achievers and entrepreneurs and type A. Well, what's the opposite of how we've been groomed and trained and conditioned over the past 30, 40, 60 years? And maybe you do that just for a half hour. See how it feels. Might make the mind uncomfortable, but it feeds the soul. After we take care of us, you love yourself more on a deeper level, then you move into who else do you choose to show up for today in a meaningful way, via a loving message, via an act of kindness, or a gift, or just some time connecting. Now you get to pour the love that you have for yourself into someone else, because those are the 2 highest frequencies that we can possibly have and then share here while on the planet. And then finally, our third question, and this is the one that people are having problems with or challenges, and it's no wonder, since from the moment we're born until about like 11 or 12 years old, something happens. And we no longer do all this stuff that, well, maybe 18 years old, we no longer go into what's fun or exciting or passionate in our lives because maybe we're trained, now you need a job. Now you need to get a place to live. Now you have to go to school and do this. Now you have to get married. Now you have to get a car. Now you have to have an apartment, right? Like all these things take over. And what it happens is that we are trained, we are groomed and conditioned to no longer even know what's the most exciting or passionate thing that you are waking up in the morning and you're excited to work on today. What's the one thing you can take one step today towards that which gives you the most excitement or passion in your life? That's the third alignment question. And for a lot, I'm getting a lot of messages, what I don't even know. I don't even know. What does that even feel like? Yeah. And the first step we kind of ask is like, if there's not like a big charity that you're passionate about, or a sports event, or a big trip you want to take, or whatever it might be, or a place you want to just be and visit, go back to being a child, a kid, 8, 9, 10 years old. What was like the most fun thing that you could think of doing? And if it was mountain biking, or if it was out playing basketball, and you're like, no, I'm too old now, I can't do any of that. Well, what if you just tried again, very gently? What if you just got a bike, right? What if you just bought a basketball, went down to the local club, and then all of a sudden you meet somebody? What we find as we go through these alignment questions, right? How do I love myself more? Who else do I choose to show up for today and love today? And what's one step I can take today towards that which brings me the most excitement or passion in my life? What you start to find is that now we're in alignment. Now we're attracting random things into our world. Now that walk on the beach that didn't make any sense for you because you had so much to do. You go for that walk on the beach, and all of a sudden at the end of the beach, you're stopped. You buy the boat of clams like Alex shared with us earlier. Maybe you split it because, $30. And someone else walks up to you and strikes up a conversation. And maybe that person might have the connection to help you, quote, move forward in your other life, right? In your finances or in your family or in your estate. Maybe that's your love partner. Maybe that's a money partner. Maybe that's somebody else that has something else that is looking for something you're providing. Doesn't matter. The whole point is connection, excitement, and passion are the three highest vibrational frequencies we can be in. And if we just live there, I am a walking example, and I know at least half the people here on this call are walking examples of everything just sort of finally coming into your world, flowing in without having to chase, without having to hustle or grind, without forcing. And it's just magical, magical journey once we finally can unlearn the conditions and the grooming and all of the stories and programs around why we were groomed here, right, to hustle and grind and force and move forward and shut up and do it. It's just a beautiful way it's another way to look at your life. And it's another way to honor what season are you in. Some people are in a season of production, of moving, of grinding, and other people are in their season of deep rest, of introspection, of feeling into what feels good, understanding why they're here again. So we honor that. That was cool. I went on a little soliloquy there, but for those of you who usually do a little pass, we start with, oh yeah, go ahead.
So you just hit a chord here. So 2.5 months ago, I was at work, just to kind of go by what you just said, and I was thinking about growing up in the Azores, where I'm from originally, and I said, because I just turned 65, and I wanted to retire, and I want to finish this, this life in the right way, obviously. But that railroad, I got to get out of there and start a new generation of something. So something clicks that go back to where you started. So I booked a flight. I did a 16-hour shift that day. Booked a flight to the Azores 2.5 weeks ago. Flew back there by myself with my work clothes on, boots on, and everything. This is before I had the plastic boot on. And went to my birthplace where I was born. I was born in the house, not in the hospital. So I went to both islands to go see my grandparents' house, my parents' house, my house, or their house, obviously, just to walk around by myself in the beach area and see the animals I used to take care of, and the walls and the smells of the fresh cut grass, and the cows and the horses. And it just clicked. Like, you came from there and look what you ended up in, the greatest country in the world, America. So make a difference, keep going, finish off your career at the railroad and start something new that's productive and enjoyable. But I had to go back there 2.5 months ago by myself. And when you buy a ticket the last minute, it's not cheap, right? And it was hard, but I got it done. I was there for 8 days. I was on 7 days on 8 different airplanes just to get to those areas.
Wow.
They're little islands. They're very small. So I got canceled flights, all kinds of stuff. Had to book a hotel at the last second, all these little things like that. But man, it was the gratitude was there, because when you practice like you and the group that you're talking to, nothing's impossible. You got to push forward, right? And just go forward. Just do it. Don't think that, it's another, $100 for this flight or this. Doesn't matter. Just do it, because one day, like, everybody's going to forget you. Eventually the last friend that went to your funeral, they're going to pass away also. And nobody's going to remember you from that point out, after. So it's important to go do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I love that. Money, we went through this before too. Money is such a low vibration frequency, but it's still an energy exchange, right? Like in our society, in Western civilization, it's known as the number one, it's our bloodline, it's our cash flow, this is our breath. Like if we don't have this, we die. And I've challenged that now 3 times by losing everything. And I can tell you, it's not our breath, and we're still here. And money is to be used only to bring us into love with ourselves, love with others, or sharing experiences like that. Highest excitement and passion, right? I love that you did that, Virginia. You followed your intuition. I do have a passage. I know we're actually doing pretty good. Usually we have community connection. Now sometimes I read something. This one came to me today. So I'm going to read this. It's called Here and There. I remember sitting for a long time on the edge of a summer lake, watching the far shore. I could see early light flood the water in the distance, and this somehow made the other side seem really exotic. Every morning I'd sit on my small edge of lake, and I'd watch the other side, imagining that a certain mystery awaited me there. With each day, its call grew larger. And finally, on the 7th day, I just had to go there. And up earlier than usual, I rowed across the lake, beached my small boat, and sat in the exact spot that I had been watching for so long. As I looked about, the aura of otherness that I had seen from my daily perch, well, it was gone. I was somewhat undone, for though this far shore was beautiful and peaceful, the wet clump of shore that I ran my hand through was the exact same as the clump of shore from where I had begun. I started to laugh at myself, for looking back at where I'd been sitting every single day, I saw early light flood the water in the distance. And now where I had been living seemed very exotic. Now a certain mystery called me back to right where I started. So often we imagine that there is more full of gold, that there, capital T, is more full of gold than here, capital H. It is the same with love and dreams and the work of our lives. We see the light everywhere but where we are, and we chase after what we think we lack, only to find, humbly, that it was all with us all along. Obviously, a lot of you know why that speaks to me. Did that speak to anybody else? But 9:30, if you're still here with me, let's take a deep breath in. We usually end these with just a quick little meditation. So we'll stop with a deep breath in. And release. Enjoying another deep breath in today, in through the nose. And release. With your eyes closed, just feel where you are right now. Feel the support, the chair underneath you or the ground underneath your feet. Feel everything that you have. Feel everything that you've done and achieved up to this point. More so, feel the soul consciousness, the learnings that you have learned on your time here on this planet. Feel into this rich breath of air that you continue to take in and out. Feel the sun on your faces and a breeze on your face. As we move into this other week filled with creation, we work with the energy of rich abundance in every single piece of our lives. We feel grateful for all that we have and all that we are headed towards. We feel grateful for having wishes and joys come to us and freely and flowly from all sides, from all angles, without work, without being earned. Knowing that rest itself, knowing that presence itself, knowing that just by existing, we are the miracle that is here on this planet. And there's nothing further to do to earn this miracle of being here, of loving others, of being loved by others, of attracting and manifesting the life that you desire. Remembering that you are not in the screen, you are the controller of this video game, and that's all it is. A wonderful game of trying, of failing, of succeeding, and enjoying the process and the journey as it goes. Every single moment is another chance to re-identify yourself for who you claim to be in this moment. Moving towards love, moving towards excitement and passion as the three most highest vibrational frequencies. We move in those moments, in those times, and when we honor when the brain starts to spiral. We honor the safety that our brain has given us for years and years and years, and now we get to choose the heart, moving with love, excitement, and passion. Let's take all of our excitement and passion, all the love that we feel for ourselves and for others. Let's create another beautiful week. We'll seal this with a deep breath in and release. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you for a half hour every Monday. I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I said it right this time.